Ave SATANAS, Ave LUCIFERI, Ave Lord BELIAL, Ave Lord LEVIATHAN, Ave Beautiful Queen Lilith, Ave King Paimon, Ave Lord Mammon, Ave Azazel, King Azazel, Ave Pazuzu, Ave Asmodee, Ave Astaroth, Ave Asmodeus, my beautiful and wonderful patron, who is after helping me so much over the years. So much over the years is unbelievable. Now I have to bring this up because I hear a lot of Satanists, theistic Satanists, devil worshippers, traditional Satanists talking about it. And it has to do with a lot of, like you can notice in a lot of groups now, there's some groups that they can't get in because the groups are made private and they're not allowed in them. They get screened basically before they go into the group. But there's a lot of Zion assholes worming their way into the satanic groups. A lot of these satanic, especially on Facebook, there's a lot of Zion pricks, Zion scumbags, trying to worm their way into groups and that. And once they get into the groups and they check people out, because I'm sure they check everybody's profile out, or most of the people in the group, depending on how big the group is, and I'm sure this is how they do it. They start to befriend a person, and when they become friends with this person, then they start to, after they become friends with them, then they start trying to lead them astray, right? Then they start trying to lead them to the right-hand path instead of the left-hand path. Which, I'm sure that there are people that bullshit has actually worked on in the past. I'm sure it has. I'm sure there's Satanists that, whether it be, no matter what kind of Satanists they are, no matter what belief system they have in Satanism, I'm sure there are people who, I'm sure there are some people who will probably leave Satanism for a while and go follow their friend and go back to the religious bullshit, Zion bullshit. Because after they get to know them a little bit, then they start to throw in a few scare tactics and shit like that, which is what they're famous for. They're famous for basically scaring people, trying to scare people with their religious bullshit. But that day will never come for me, I can guarantee you that. And in my honest opinion, some of the Satanists that do turn away from Father Satan and do come back later on, which they can do, which you can easily do. You can be a Satanist for a while or whatever, and then if you decide that, and then you can go, if you decide it's not for you, right? I'm just saying, if you decide it's not for you, then you'll go to another, you could go to Wiccan, you could turn back to fucking religion, organized religion, that is, like fucking all the Zion shit, and then you find out that after a while in there, you find out that you're actually missing a lot of stuff. Number one, you're missing your freedom, which is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing. Number two, you're missing out on all the fun you had, whether you drink or not, all the stuff you used to do, all the lustful sex things you used to do, because if you're religious, You can't do that unless you are what you call, unless you're married. And then there's a lot of things in marriage, even when you are religious, there's a lot of things in marriage that you can't do because it's not seen good in their fucking retarded giant bullshit God's eyes. You know, and you can't have that, right? But at least in Satanism, one thing I love about Satanism is freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, man. That's one thing I do love about Satanism. Freedom of choice, freedom of everything. You're free to do anything you want to do, man. Anything. And you're capable of doing anything you want to do. All you have to do is put your mind to it, man. Put your mind to it, put your soul to it. You know, ask Father Satan or your patron demons for guidance. And they'll help guide you. No question about that. They'll help guide you, but you have to do some of the work. You have to do most of the work. They're not going to stand there and do all the work for you. That's like a person, that would be like a person making a pact with, say, Father Satan. Just say. I'll just use Father Satan as an example on this one. Hail Satan. Say you're making a pact with Father Satan, okay? Say you're new to Satanism, whatever. And you make a pact to Father Satan that you want to be rich. Okay. Now, you're not going to wake up the next morning and there's going to be, you know, $500 million down underneath on the foot of your bed. That's not the way it works. You have to put work in. Sure, Father Satan and the patron demons will guide you. They'll guide you to how to do it. You know, like how to hook up with a good job, an excellent paying job. You know, but you have to put some of the work in, man. It's just not all given to you like that. That's not the way it works. If that's the way it worked, we'd all be millionaires. We'd all be millionaires and billionaires if that was the way it worked. If it was that simple. You know, I know, sure as hell know that I would be. If it was that simple. But that's the way a lot of people think, right? When they do, like especially people that are new to the left-hand path, that are new to Satanism, they think that anything they wish for, anything they do a pact for, it's going to come out 100% in their favor. Okay, say you're doing a lustful pact for the girl down the street. Okay? Say you do a pact for lust for her. Say the girl, I'll just use this as an example. Say the girl down the street. Okay? You have to put a little bit of the work in, right? Like you have to keep yourself groomed properly. You know, you're just not going to go to a party and she's not just going to walk up to you and say, come on, I want to fuck you. Although that has happened in the past. But that being said, it don't work that way, right, man? We have to put some more work in. You know, maybe we go to a party and maybe we find out that we have things in common. You know, and it goes from there. And the next thing you know, getting your freak on. Right? But you do have to put some work in, man. It just doesn't be handed to you on a silver platter. You know, we have to put work in, no matter who the fuck we are. And no matter how long we've been on this path, or how short a time we've been on a Satanist, doesn't matter. We still have to put work in. Just as much work, I put just as much work, more work in. I probably put more work in now than I ever did before. Because I know Father Satan's time is here now, and it's getting very serious. It's starting to bubble more, and more, and more, and more. And our time is now. Our time is now, and it's going to be in the future. And there's not a fucking person or a thing that can stop it. There's not any God that can stop it. There's not any deity that can stop it. And it's no good for them to even fucking try, because they're only wasting their time and energy. So that's the way that is. But anyway, yeah, you have to put your time, your energy into it, man. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. Anyway, I'll talk to you next. I'll probably do another video after this one. Ave Satanas, Ave Luciferi, Ave Belial, Ave Leviathan.